Welcome to the Troubleshooting Your Initial IGGY or NEWT Connection video. Please note that closed captions are available for this video.
隐藏式字幕以普通话提供.
한국어 자막 안내입니다.
Troubleshooting your initial connection. If you are having difficulties, this video will help you make the initial connection to set up your IGGY or NEWT. As shown in the Connecting to your NEWT or IGGY tutorial videos, the preferred method to connect to your device is to first plug your computer, which is running dashboard, into the same wired Ethernet network as your IGGY or NEWT. Then, use the walkabout feature of dashboard to configure your IP address and reboot it. Your device should then appear automatically in the device tree in dashboard. You can then open the device and access its dashboard configuration pages. However, with certain network or PC configurations, or if you have an old NEWT firmware installed, you may need to follow some different initial steps, which will be shown in this video. Troubleshooting. Walkabout. Walkabout is accessed within Dashboard by clicking the File menu of Dashboard, then clicking the Show Walkabout item. Ideally, your device will appear here. If your device does not appear in the Walkabout tab, first click the Refresh button at the bottom of the page. If your device still does not appear, then it is possible that your computer and your device are not connected to the same network. The computer and device must be connected to the same network for the Walkabout setup to be successful. After performing each of the following troubleshooting suggestions, remember to refresh the Walkabout tab to determine if you are now successfully connected. Check wired connections. In order to ensure both your device and computer are connected to the same network, first check all wired connections. Turn off computer's Wi-Fi. Turn off your computer's Wi-Fi to force it to use a wired connection. Use a specific Ethernet port. Try configuring Dashboard to use a specific Ethernet port instead of the default setting of using all network interfaces. To make this configuration, first select the Dashboard window menu, then the Preferences menu. Under the Automatic Discover section, select to search for devices using the Selected Network Interface option, then select the interface that is connected to the same network as your device. Unplug unnecessary data connections. Unplug any data connections you've connected to your device. Have only the connection to the control port. Power cycle. Try power cycling, turning off and on your device. Factory reset. You can also perform a factory reset as described later in this video. If you still cannot see your device with Walkabout, especially if you have a NEWT with an older firmware version, you should follow the Connecting Without Walkabout section later in this video. Troubleshooting. Dashboard device tree. In order to configure your device with Dashboard, it must appear in the device tree. Your device may appear in Walkabout, but not in the device tree. Use Walkabout to configure the IP settings of your NEWT or IGGY's control port. The control port must be on the same subnet as your computer in order for device auto-discovery to work. Contact your network administrator to determine if you should use a DHCP or a particular static IP configuration. If you believe that the IP address of your NEWT or IGGY is configured correctly to the same subnet as your computer, but your IGGY or NEWT still does not appear in the Dashboard device tree, you should try the following. Click Refresh button. Click the Refresh button above the device tree. Enable automatic discovery of devices. Check that the dashboard preferences are set to enable automatic discovery of devices. To make this preference change, first select the dashboard window menu, then the Preferences menu. Under Automatic Discovery, select to enable automatic discovery of devices. Turn off Wi-Fi and detach other Ethernet ports to your computer. You may need to ensure that your computer has no other Ethernet ports attached and that the Wi-Fi on your computer is turned off. Use a specific Ethernet port. If you haven't already done so, configure Dashboard to use a specific Ethernet port instead of the default setting of using all network interfaces. To make this configuration, first select the Dashboard window menu, then the Preferences menu. Under the Automatic Discovery section, select to search for devices using the Selected Network Interfaces option, then select the interface that is connected to the same network as your device. Unplug unnecessary data connections. Try unplugging any data connections to your device, keeping only the connection to the control port. Reboot. Try rebooting your device to clear any conflicting DHCP leases. Ensure your device and computer are on the same subnet. Ensure that your computer and your IGGY or NEWT are on the same subnet. This is accomplished by having them connected to the same switch and configuring their IP addresses and subnet mask to be compatible. Use Walkabout to double-check your IP settings, and ensure that you are configuring the control port of your device. Double-check with your network administrator to determine how you should configure the IP of your device, either DHCP or with a particular static address. If your network uses DHCP, both your computer as well as the IGGY or NEWT should be configured in DHCP mode. DHCP mode is configured in Walkabout by setting the IP address of the control port to 0.0.0.0 for a device. Once you have entered 0.0.0.0, the device column will include DHCP, and the IP address column will then show the current IP address of the device. After your reboot, this address will be the IP address that was assigned to this device by the DHCP server. If you configure your computer and your device as DHCP, but there is no DHCP server in your network, the device in your computer will use a random address in the 169.254 subnet. Even though there is no DHCP server, this configuration will allow you to connect. However, this is not a great solution as the IP address will change every time the device is rebooted. If using static addresses, the IGGY or NEWT must be configured to be on the same subnet but have a different IP address as your computer. This means that where the subnet mask bits are set, the IP addresses must be the same, but in the other part of the IP addresses, there must be a difference. For example, with a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0, the IP addresses 10.4.2.2 and 10.4.2.3 are on the same subnet, but 10.4.5.3 is not. Ensure the NET1, NET2, and control ports are all on the different subnets. Make sure that the NET1, NET2, and control ports are all on different subnets. Always remember to reboot the device after changing IP settings. After it reboots, click the refresh button above the device tree. If you are still unable to see the device in the device tree, you can try to add the device manually as detailed later in this video. Troubleshooting, connecting without Walkabout. In order to configure the IP address of an IGGY or NEWT without using Walkabout, you will need to connect your computer directly to the device using an Ethernet cable to configure your computer with a compatible static IP configuration. This configuration should be done using the default IP configuration of the IGGY or NEWT. When the device is first shipped, or after a factory reset, which is detailed later in this video, the control port will have a static IP address of 192.168.0.100 and a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. For Mac users, you can change your IP address through the network setting under System Preferences. On a Windows machine, you can modify your IP address in the Network and Sharing Center. When modifying your computer's IP settings, ensure that you are giving your computer the same subnet as your device, but a different IP address. The subnet of the device will initially be 192.168.0 with an IP address of 192.168.0.100. Therefore, the address you give your computer must start with 192.168.0 and end with anything from 0 to 255 but 100. For example, the IP address could be 192.168.0.101. With your computer now ready to access your device, open Dashboard. If you are on the same subnet as your device, it may appear automatically in the dashboard list on the left side. If not, click on the green plus sign to add a new connection. Under Open Gear/Dashboard Connect, choose the TCP/IP Dashboard Connector OpenGear device option. You can now enter the default device IP address, which is 192.168.0.100. Then click the Detect Frame Information, and Dashboard will find your device and populate the display name and other fields. Click on Finish. The device will show up on the left side of Dashboard. Expand the tree and double-click on the second NEWT or IGGY to access the card configuration and status tabs. A Welcome tab will appear with some general information. You can now change the IP address of the device's control port in the Step 3 section. We recommend using a static IP address instead of a DHCP IP address. The IP address to use can be provided by your IT department. After changing the IP address, click Apply. After applying the changes for the IP address, you will need to reboot your device for the changes to take effect. Click Yes on the pop-up, then reboot your device with the Reboot button at the bottom of Dashboard. You can now disconnect your point-to-point connection between your device and your computer. The IP address configuration of your computer can then be restored to its original value, and your computer and the device should then be connected to your normal network. Your device may automatically appear properly in the device tree, or you can add it manually as before, but with the new IP address. Troubleshooting. Adding a device manually. In some network configurations where your computer and device are not on the same subnet, you may need to manually add the IP address of your device. To add the IP address manually, first click on the green plus icon above the device tree. Then expand the OpenGear/Dashboard Connect folder, select TCP/IP Dashboard Connect or OpenGear device, and click Next. Now enter the IP address of the control port. Click the Detect Frame Information button to fill out the other fields. Then click Finish. If you are still having trouble connecting to your device, you should get help from your network administrator. Ensure that the network to which your computer is connected has a route to your device. Your device will respond to network pings, which should allow for your network administrator to work out any problems with the network routing. Troubleshooting. Factory reset. You can perform a factory reset on your device if you need to reset the IP configuration to its default settings. Resetting your device will erase all previously configured settings, so should only be performed as a last resort. To trigger a factory reset, your device must be running normally such that the status LED is green. Use a bent paperclip or something similar to press the recessed button in the small hole near the status LED. The LED should go red after a second or two. When the device reboots, its control port will have the default static 192.168.0.100 IP configuration, and you can restart the initial configuration. Troubleshooting. Contact ROS Video Support. If you are still having trouble connecting to your IGGY or NEWT, help is only a phone call away. Please contact ROS Video Support for further assistance. Thank you for watching and for choosing ROS Video.